go for liftoff in T-minus 30.
Stand by for further instructions, Minnesota Black Room Regiment.
Secondary guidance systems engaged.
Minnesota Black Room Regiment, it will be on my mark.
All systems are a go. All systems are a go.
Minnesota Black Room Regiment, you are over the target. You are authorized to fire at will.
Hey, thanks for stopping by for another live stream. Once again, another live stream in the story about Haven and the situation that we have going on there. Before we get rolling with that story, thanks for tuning in. If you're on Rumble, holler. If you're tuning in from YouTube, give us a holler from there as well. Super chats are always, appreciated. Thankful to all the channel subscribers on both sides. Thankful to everybody who tunes in that hasn't made the decision to become a channel member. But if you are a channel member, we would love for you to, or if you're not a channel member, we would love for you to join the Think Local, Act Local community. Help me keep things going. Super chats go a long ways towards that. Channel memberships go a long ways towards that. If you prefer to go through something like Subscribestar, you can go over to Subscribestar and find me there. Pick a channel membership from there. Still looking for some new show producers coming in at that top tier of support. So we are very thankful for that. I'm not going to lie. I don't do what I do for money, but my channel is monetized. So things like super chats, things like shares, coming back, commenting for the algorithm after you have watched the content, even on a live stream, is very helpful. Keeps pushing it out there. But the most important thing about what we do is tell other people's stories. And all it takes is being burned by the system. Oh, Jen Thunder, thank you for the super chat right out of the gate. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Jen. You're always so very kind to me. That's what the world needs. We need more not super chats. We don't need more super chats in the world. It'd be very weird if we could walk around giving people super chats or super stickers. It's a strange idea, isn't it? Having that little thing pop up over your head while you're walking around because somebody gave you a super chat. If you can't tell, I'm a little under the weather, fighting off a cold. So it's the first one I've had since my new workout regimen started in January. The first one I've actually felt. So I woke up this morning with a burning throat. It felt like somebody was inside of my throat with a blowtorch. And I said, nope, not today. Not today, Satan. So I got up, did a light workout, took some Oscillium, been hitting the bone broth pretty hard. Now I'm having a little bit of Mike's Hard Lemonade. Not a paid sponsor, but gosh, if Mike's Hard Lemonade wanted to sponsor the channel, I don't think I'd say no to that. So yeah, this is their zero sugar hard lemonade. So it's actually pretty good. I was a little surprised at how good it was, actually. But anyway, what we do here is we tell other people's stories, because all it takes is getting burned by the system. And I've had a few people that have reached out in relation to the first Haven video, which was last Sunday, who are upset that I'm talking bad about law enforcement. They're upset that I'm talking bad about social workers. They're upset that I'm defending the family. I don't care if you're upset. In one case, somebody said, how'd they say? The cop and the social worker might be corrupt, but these people don't deserve to have children. Now, if not Haven, I know Haven's not watching, but if Caden and Kaylin are watching, or if Heidi's watching, I don't say that to put it out there to rub it in your face that someone said that. I say that because this is the evil of the world, especially through social media. And this is the evil of statism. This is the evil of people who have been conditioned to comply to everything the state says, that they'll acknowledge that the state is doing something evil, that government is doing something evil, that a government employee is doing something corrupt, and they don't care. Their problem's not with the corruption. The problem that they have ends up being with the victims of the abuse. There is no other situation in the world where the victim of the abuse gets to be made fun of or attacked and people don't lose their minds. It it absolutely boggles my mind that we can in our day and age. I'm trying to figure out which one I like better. I think I like this. No. Yeah, this one's probably better. So, um, it's only in our society today where the government can abuse you, where the state can abuse you, and uh, people will defend the state. Um, it's defend the abuser. You know, there's the old joke out there that says, "I'm in an abusive relationship with my government," and it's really not a joke anymore. We are in an abusive relationship with government. Government doesn't care how they abuse you. And they know that they have people so conditioned to uh, the abusive nature of what they do that they just they just get to do it and have people defend them. And I received another criticism. I had one person reach out to me, you know, and then I heard from several others. Stop interrupting during the video so much. I appreciate that you guys want to hear what's being said. I really do. Um, I want you to be able to hear what's being said. But I also want you to understand that I have watched this video over and over and over and over and over and over again for hours. I am going to hear things and see things that you're not going to hear on a first playthrough. So when I stop and I interrupt and I point something out and I do some commentary, one, it's because I'm seeing things that need to be talked about. Two, I want you to be able to see it as well. And three, that's why when this is all said and done, the unredacted, uncommentated over videos will be available for the public to watch. I also am working on getting these videos into the hands of several other big channels. Several big channels. I want to work through them first because I had them first. That's the way it goes. And those big channels will do much the same thing that I do if they choose to run these videos. And that's the nature of commentary. That's the nature of a government accountability. Well, you guys tell Haven I said hello. So if you remember, we got about 4 minutes into the interaction. I'm going to fast forward the video here to about the 3.5 minute mark. And we're going to hold on there, TC. We'll about maybe a little before the 3.5 minute mark. All right. we are going to once again listen to this interaction. And remember, this is unredacted body cam video from Officer Robbie Flerick, or whatever his name is. I also want to remind everybody that he entered the home, came into the house without getting permission to come in. The social worker, Audrey, and Tristan, who we cannot find, by the way. So if anybody knows if Tristan is still working for Winona County, we need to know that. We cannot find Tristan working for Winona County. We also cannot find a license for anybody in Winona County named Tristan as a social worker. And the last that I've been able to gather, Audrey is not licensed either. But Robbie, the St. Charles PD officer, entered the home without permission, and it was only after he came across the threshold that he said, loud enough for Heidi to hear, the homeowner, the property owner, because when you live in the property, whether you rent or you're paying a mortgage, you are the property owner. It was only after he came into the house and got her attention and got permission to be there that he actually got permission. Now, I'm also going to warn people that there's going to be a little bit of heavier critique today as well, about some things when we hear Heidi ask a very, very important question that we heard her at the end of last week's video. So without any further ado, folks, please be sharing this out.
But she's not. So we have the weights from the last 3 weeks, and her weight has stayed the same for the last, I think it's 2 weeks.
No, it hasn't.
It has, Heidi.
No,
so
it
I need you to
hasn't.
stop interrupting and let me.
Once again, she has no business interrupting anybody in their home.
I was actually the one that later.
Okay, Kaylin, or Heidi, I need you to let me talk.
Do you have a warrant?
So here's
Do you have a
the
warrant?
Heidi.
Do you have a warrant, Audrey?
That's 3 times she's asked, do you have a warrant? And this is where Robbie is going to break in, and this is very important.
I need you to stop interrupting and let me talk.
I was actually the one that later.
Okay, Kaylin, or Heidi, I need you to let me talk.
Do you have a warrant?
So here's
Do you have a warrant?
Heidi.
Do you have a warrant, Audrey?
We're under medical advice,
I
and
have a doctor saying that she
Dr.
needs
Culper,
to
who is
be,
no
that
longer
needs
her
to be immediately admitted to the hospital.
And we refuse to take her to Maine.
Then she's going to be placed under a hold by law enforcement, and she's going to be taken into custody and will file a CHIPS. So let me talk and let me get through this.
They had already had this worked out ahead of time. Heidi's now asked if they have a warrant 3 times. Officer Flerick, Robbie, who, by the way, I've heard does not have a great reputation around St. Charles. And we're going to find out more about that. But we're under medical advice. Then Audrey comes in with the whole, and if you don't do what we say, then this is the threat. This is the threat. This is a government agent threatening you. Do what we say, or we're going to kidnap your child. We're going to kidnap your grandchild. That's what she does. She threatens to kidnap the child. Remember, we established in last week's video, there is no exigent circumstance for them to be here. And when we break into the second part of Robbie's videos from his body cam, we're going to hear just how non-emergent this was. So we're going to let this play out again a little bit more.
And let me talk to the mother of the child. So she was weighed yesterday, and there's a concern that she's still not gaining. She's the same weight as she has been, okay? And I have the records from both medical facilities that show what her weight has been, and the records that show what all of the recommendations have been, what your guys' responses to those have been, how the interactions have gone. Heidi, your interactions with them don't help. You have to learn how to talk to people respectfully.
There again, you have a social worker telling an adult, Heidi in this case, you don't help. You're the cause of this. She's blaming Heidi. Now I want you to remember where this social worker is. She just barged into this home and started barking orders and making threats, and now she's going to have the balls to tell another adult in their own home, as it relates to their child or their grandchild, that you're the reason we're here, basically. That's what Audrey's saying. Your interactions don't help.
Listen to Kaylin. They don't listen to any of us.
Heidi, you don't
Well, we're going to get some buffer.
talk to people respectfully.
If that's not the pot calling the kettle black, folks, Heidi, you don't talk to people respectfully. You just basically told Heidi to shut up in her own home, you trollop, you little troll. And when you've been pressed about having a warrant, the only thing you can come up with is we've got a directive from a doctor. Well, what authority does a doctor have? None.
And you have to learn that is impactful. And that is creating problems.
You have to
And
learn.
until you learn that, it's going to continue to create problems.
Because Kayla doesn't say anything, and
Then
they don't listen.
go and let her go and let her do the talking. But you're doing this to me.
But you need to listen. She doesn't
I
say
need to be able
anything.
to talk to her, and you need to stop.
Do you hear how this woman is talking to her in the house? That's why I interrupt. Listen to how this woman is talking to her employers. Look, I am not a big fan of walking up to cops in uniform or other government employees and saying, you work for me. But right now, this ever-loving witch needs the reminder that she's the employee here. And I don't know about you, but if you're the boss, if you're the manager, if you're the supervisor, and if you're the business owner or whatever the case might be, if you have an employee that talks to you like this in your place of business, your place of employment, where you give them a job, where you pay them, how long would they have a job? Now, don't get me wrong. I've stood up to bosses before when they've been wrong, and I will continue to do so. But there's a way to do it. And the way this troll is talking to her bosses, to her employers, is out of line and asinine. She should not have a job working in government, for the government, for we the people, where she's allowed to interact with the public.
I've asked you 3 times to stop.
This is my house.
And she asked you for a warrant 3 times. Which one's more important, bitch?
Okay.
I've asked you twice to get a warrant.
Then we'll take the baby. So either stop and let me talk to
you
them
hear
and
that?
explain.
Do you have a warrant?
No, but stop.
This is my house.
Okay.
I've asked you twice to get a warrant.
Then we'll take the baby.
Stop, or we're taking the baby. We're going to punish the baby, and we're going to punish Kaylin and Caden because we don't like you. You shut up, or we're taking the baby. Listen to that buildup one more time.
I need to be able to talk to her, and you need to stop. I've asked you 3 times to stop.
This is my house.
Okay.
I've asked you twice to get a warrant.
Then we'll take the baby.
That's the
So
fifth
either
time
stop
for
and
that.
let me talk to them and explain.
Do you have a warrant?
No, but we have the ability to
That's
take the baby. And we have a doctor who wants to call and explain to the parent.
Did you hear what she said?
So either stop and let me talk to them and explain.
Do you have a warrant?
No, but we have the ability to take the baby. And we have a doctor who wants to call and explain to the parent.
We don't have a warrant, but we have the ability to take the baby. And we have a doctor that wants to call and explain. No, you don't have the ability to take the baby. You have no warrant. Now, the last I checked, Heidi was paying attention. Last I checked, Heidi was in chat. Heidi, please do not get upset with me. This is where Heidi screws up. This should have been immediate. Without a warrant, get the F out of my house. They had no choice. They could not assert authority to stay there. This is not finger pointing or blaming Heidi for the situation as it has arisen. Everything about this is wrong. But I want everybody who's watching, I want everybody who's listening, I want everybody who's paying attention, learn from Heidi's mistake. I promise you Heidi would say the same thing. Heidi would look you in the face right now and tell you she should have asked for a warrant at the door. And when they said, no, we don't have a warrant, she would tell you she should have stopped them at the door and said, you're not coming in without a warrant. She will tell you she should not have said, yes, you can come in. She will tell you that the first time she asked for a warrant and they said no, she would have said leave. But here at this fifth time, where Audrey's threatening to kidnap the child if Heidi doesn't comply, that's what this is. These are threats of medical kidnapping. We're going to use the system against you if you don't do what we say. Those are threats. That is a threat. When the government has the power to come into your life and do what they want to do because they've got a man with a gun and a taser and a badge standing there, that is threats of violence. They have threats of violence hanging over their head. That's why the thumbnail for this picture is a picture of a social worker and a cop with their boots raised over a family trying to protect a cradle. Because unlike the old saying, the hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world, it's the boots that smash the cradle that destroy families. That's what they're here for. They're here to destroy this family. And they know they're wrong. They absolutely know they're wrong.
Because they're trying to force to do a G-tube. Caitlin doesn't
Because
want it
the
done.
baby is sick.
She is not sick.
She is. You're not a doctor, Heidi.
She is not
Okay,
sick.
so the doctor would like to talk to you. Can we call the doctor?
Go ahead.
Okay. Can I ask that we shut the music off so we can hear the doctor? Okay, please. What? She's expecting me to call from my work phone, and my Zoom app on my phone isn't working, so she's sending me a voicemail.
What we have here, by the way, you just had a public employee, a government employee, a public servant admit she's using her private phone to do business. I need everybody that's watching to reach out to the Winona County Social Services Division and ask for data requests on Audrey's phone. That's what we need to do. We need data requests on Audrey's, not her work phone, not her work cell phone. She's using her personal cell phone. She just said she's expecting me to call from my work phone. In other words, my work cell phone. So that means she's using her personal cell phone to call a doctor in regards to a very public situation that she's dealing with. And now, while this is all in private right here, this is public on her end. That means her phone's open to data requests, text messages, emails, signal messages, WhatsApp, phone calls, anything where she has any connection to anything that where she works. If she gets her email on her home phone or on her cell phone, if she sends texts to coworkers about work, about cases, that makes her personal cell phone subject to data, which, by the way, Audrey, if you're watching this and you begin to delete any of this and we find out, you're in violation of Minnesota's open records law. That makes you a criminal. That makes you subject to criminal penalties. So you better not be deleting anything. You better not have deleted anything. And we're going to find out. We're going to find out.
If it's, let's say, Winona County when it comes up, if you have your Zoom thing. This is Audrey from Winona County trying to call you as per our discussion yesterday. Please call me back.
Kaden, where's that number? The lady we talked to yesterday.
Hi Sheila, it's Audrey back. Hi, I'm gonna put you on speakerphone. I am at the house with Kaylin and Heidi, and then myself and an officer. Sorry, myself, another worker, an officer. Kaylin, grandma, baby, and then sorry, what is their significant other's name? Kaylin. So we are here, and I just need you to explain to them what the situation is, if you could, please.
Yeah, I had spoken to them last night after
Where's that number, Kaden?
reviewing the weight check that we had done, and
Go get it now.
my concern is that Hayden didn't really make significant weight change in a week.
Once again, if anybody knows who this Tristan is, we just got a good look at his face.
Concern is that Hayden didn't really make significant.
If anybody knows who this Tristan is, we really need to know where he's working. We need to know where he's licensed. We need that information.
Weight change in a week. From the 2 times that we saw her and weighed her in our clinic. And so I don't know for that. I can't really account for the, lower weights and the flat line, but to me it's just concerning, and I wanted to make sure that we're not missing any kind of other medications that might lead to weight gain, even though they're doing their best. Doing a good job. It's just,
Did you hear that? We're going to go back 10 seconds and listen to what she says here very closely.
Medications that might lead to weight gain, even though they're doing their best. Doing a good job.
Even though they're doing their best, and I think they're doing a good job. That's what the doctor said. So the premise that Robbie the cop, the dirty cop, the corrupt cop, the constitutional oath-breaking cop used was, we're here under doctor's advisement. That doesn't give you a right to be there without a warrant. Doctors don't get to override your constitutional duty to not enter a home and threaten to kidnap a child, you piece of crap. And the doctor just said they're doing their best and they're doing a good job. Which one is it? Are they a danger to the child, or are they doing their best and they're doing a good job?
It's just, I was worried that there's something going on, and the best way to figure that out is to have Kate in the hospital where we can make sure that she's, we're tracking the volume she's getting in, checking her weights, making sure she doesn't have an absorption problem, and her GI tract, making sure her heart is okay.
Which that's already been
just
checked.
demonstrating that good weight gain that we need to see.
So Dr. Cover, can I just have you give the kind of the clear direction of what needs to happen, because I have the officer here and I have them saying, basically that we need to leave. So I just need the clear direction from you on what needs to happen.
Sure.
You want to take this thing?
I think she needs to come into the hospital.
So Dr. Cofer did.
I think she needs to come into the hospital. I think she needs to come into the hospital. What Audrey's trying to do, what this troll is trying to do, is she's trying to get the doctor to fabricate an emergency. Which it's too late for the fabrication of the emergency, because if you go back and watch the first video, we break down that it was basically 5+ days from the very first report of neglect that was filed by a social worker in another hospital. It's been 5 days, plus Winona County sat on it for 2 days. St. Charles PD sat on it for 2 days. Like, if it was an emergency, you wouldn't have sat on it for over 5 days. If it was an emergency, you wouldn't have a doctor saying what I think needs to happen. You'd be saying, look, we this is very serious. Everything about this is built on thoughts, really. It's thoughts and feelings. It's not facts and objective proof. It's thoughts and feelings. The doctor's implying that she knows best. And I'm sorry, doctors aren't always right. They're not always right. We learned that a lot in 2020 and 2021, didn't we?
Did you look at the medical records like we discussed yesterday and you were rude and hung up on me? So,
I need you to stop.
hold on,
No, I need
hold
you
on.
to stop. Because
I need you to stop.
No, I
And
have
listen.
asked her to tell us what needs to happen. So please let her
But
provide her medical opinion.
did she go back to the records
Let her provide a medical opinion. That's it. It's just an opinion. Audrey, it's just an opinion.
where baby had problems in utero?
Heidi,
Did she go back to
ask
that?
some questions,
No.
so let her answer
she
my
didn't.
question first.
My recommendation.
What you see here too is you're starting to see the stress is causing division in this moment. Kaylin's, you see it all over Kaylin's face. I feel so bad for this poor girl. They're trying to take her daughter away from her in this moment. She knows that. They're trying to tear this family apart, and to some degree, it's working, because you've got Kaylin now, basically pleading with Heidi, pleading with mom to stop.
And if she doesn't come into the hospital, what are we concerned about?
Well, as I explained to them yesterday, my concerns are regarding her development, her impacts on development, her cognition, her ability to, eventually undergo her surgery to correct her congenital differences in her face and palate and
You had mentioned something about a risk of refeeding syndrome or something like that. Can you explain that, please?
yeah, so if
We've had to form her ears too. So should we talk about that?
if she is, her calories are, she just needs to be in a monitored setting, because if any calorie adjustment or things like that need to be made for her, it can be very dangerous for her electrolytes and her liver, and so those things kind of need to be monitored when we're making sure, that she's getting the feeding she needs.
And your ear, nose, and throat, correct?
And that it's going to
Symmetrical for your ear, nose, and throat, right? Correct?
Heidi, you're not the mom.
But these are the questions Kaylin needs to be asking.
Okay.
So this doesn't have anything to do with it.
But she works with the other providers, and she would be admitted to a pediatric specialty.
Mm-hmm. But is that what Kayla wants? Kayla has told them no.
This is about a baby who is failure to thrive at this point. Is that correct? We have diagnosed her with failure to thrive at this point.
Who is diagnosed?
Yes.
What doctor? What doctor?
She's failure to thrive.
Who's their doctor?
You don't get to question, Heidi, who's made that diagnosis.
Kayla.
That's absolute bullshit. You don't get to question who's made that diagnosis. The hell I don't. What makes a doctor Koff, or whatever her name is in this situation, why is she a final authority? And since when is it wrong for someone to advocate for another person? Like in this situation, why is it wrong for Heidi to advocate for Kaylin? Because that's what Audrey and Tristan and Robbie, the corrupt cop, claim they're doing. They claim they're advocating on the part of Haven. But really what they're doing is they're advocating on the part of a doctor. The reality in this situation, when you really look into it, is they're using a doctor who has no authority to destroy this family. And we're digging into the doctor's history, by the way. We're looking into the doctor's history to find out how many times she has involved herself in situations where kids have been stripped from their homes and removed to foster care or even adopted out through the termination of parental rights. We are digging into that. That's public information. I'm not saying she has done it. I'm not saying that she's guilty of anything. I'm not saying she's committed any crimes. I'm not saying that she's colluded in anything. I'm saying these are questions that we need to ask. This is what we need to be asking. And I'll say again, if Heidi and her family, if Haven's parents, Caden and Kaylin, were wealthy, well-to-do, somebody's about town in Winona County and St. Charles, this wouldn't be happening. And when I seen this wouldn't be happening, I don't mean that Haven wouldn't be having problems, because wealthy people's children have problems too. This wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for the fact that the system knows that they can push them around because they're not part of the elite. They're not part of the in crowd. And that's the repetitive pattern in every one of these medical kidnapping cases. They never go after the somebodies. They go after the people that everybody ignores. They go after the people that people look down on. And that's what's happening here. So we're going to go back about 20 seconds. And we're going to listen to Audrey put her foot right in her mouth right after she steps in a giant cow pie. She's going to put that her own foot in her mouth and lick that cow shit right off her foot.
What Kayla wants. Kayla has told them,
This is about a baby who is failure to thrive at this point. Is that correct? We have diagnosed her with failure to thrive at this point.
Who is diagnosed?
Yes.
What doctor? What doctor?
She is failure to thrive.
Who's their doctor?
You don't get to question Heidi, who's made that diagnosis.
Kayla.
The doctor has made the diagnosis of failure to thrive.
I mean, I'm certainly qualified to make a diagnosis of failure to thrive, and I've taken care of lots of.
Here we go. Appeals to authority. I'm certainly qualified to make a diagnosis of failure to thrive. I have taken care of lots of. Doesn't matter. Are you the child's doctor in this situation? Are you? Now, this is also an admittance. Gosh. Now I'm all paranoid that people think I stopped the video too much, but this is why I do it. Listen.
The doctor has made the diagnosis of failure to thrive.
I mean, I'm certainly qualified to make a diagnosis of failure to thrive, and I've taken care of lots of children, and very heavily involved in feeding and growth and breathing concerns, everything that can affect growth. And I don't think that, the condition here is clear. She is failing to thrive. And we just need to do some monitoring. We need to get her in a monitored setting, which would be in the hospital, and do some assessments just to make sure that we can get her on the right track and growing.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Kaylin, is it just breast milk that we're doing? No formula, nothing like that.
This piece of shit, he's got no business asking these questions right now. Now, he has a right to ask whatever he wants to ask. But he has no medical authority. He has no jurisdictional authority. He's got no capacity as a cop to be asking about what he's observing here. Just I want you to hear this. He's not a medical expert by any stretch of the imagination. I guarantee you, I have far more emergent medical training than this jackass does. Guarantee it. I can't guarantee it. I don't know him personally. I don't know. But he has no business asking this question. Anytime a cop asks you a question, you don't answer. This is a setup. He has no business interjecting right now. Just listen to him.
So, Kaylin, is it just breast milk that we're doing? No formula, nothing like that. Bottle feeding, correct? Okay.
Yes, because
some days breast.
Breast, okay. Okay.
Kaylin, when a cop asks you a question, say, I don't want to answer you. And I'm not obligated to answer you. I'm sorry, Kaylin. It's not your fault. You don't need to answer those questions. They've already made their decision in this situation, what they're going to do. Answering questions at this point is not going to help you. Answering a cop's questions is never going to help you. Ever. Never, ever, 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 ever going to help you.
so Caden's on the phone. We went to, after our 5 minutes, they laid her yesterday.
Right.
And they laid her differently. Every time we've gone there, Audrey, it has been a different way that they've laid her. And I told him, I said, can you please document that?
And some days it's a different scale. Like,
Yep.
we asked them, same scale each time. It's a different scale each time.
Yesterday, what was different that they did?
They weighed her naked.
Now, did she not gain a pound when you stopped listening to Julie and did it your way? In a week, she gained a pound.
And that's a concern that they've had, is that it doesn't even make sense. It's not medically possible for her to gain a pound in a week, is what they're saying.
Yes.
And they had concerns about what they were observing with you guys, is that there was some sort of manipulation of the scale going on.
They had concern there was some sort of manipulation of the scale. Wait a minute. So you've got trained medical professionals in the room with mom and dad and grandma, and you think they're manipulating the scale. This is an accusation. It's not medically possible for a baby to have gained a pound in a week. I don't know. Does it matter? Should we be looking it up? I don't know. Should we look it up? Should we ask? Let's ask ChatGPT. Let's see what ChatGPT says. Hello, ChatGPT. Is it possible for an infant to... let's do this. Let's just type it in. Now, remember, ChatGPT is not, infallible. But let's see what ChatGPT says. I wonder if I can share this. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Here we go. So I ask, is it possible for a newborn to gain a pound of weight in 1 week's time? Yes, it can happen. And it's not abnormal in the right context. Once again, we're not infallible, right? Here's the breakdown. Typical newborn weight patterns. Most newborns lose 5 to 10% of their birth weight in the first few days. They usually gain 5 to 10%, by the way. That's a lot. They usually regain that weight by 10 to 14 days of life. After regaining, the average weight gain is 5 to 7 ounces average, 5 to 7 ounces per week, so 3 to 4 pounds for breastfed babies, and 3 or not 3 to 4, 0.3 to 0.4 pounds for breastfed babies, or 5 to 11 ounces per week for formula fed babies, so 0.3 to 0.7 pounds. Right? So, is 1 pound in a week possible? Yes, especially in these situations. Formula fed babies tend to gain faster. Bigger babies at birth often gain weight more quickly. Babies who had initial weight loss may have a catch up week that looks large on paper. If breastfeeding is well established and with abundant supply, some newborns exceed the averages. When would it be unusual or concerning? A newborn gaining more than a pound per week for several weeks consistently might raise questions about excess fluid retention. Overfeeding, also rare unless bottles are consistently overfilled. Underlying medical issues, again, uncommon. So we're not going to belabor this. Once again, ChatGPT is not an expert, but it does pull from a wide search grid, and comes up with answers. We just had Heidi. We just had Heidi say that's concerning. Remember? She said that. We're going to go back and listen to this. After they've been accused of dilly-dallying with the screens, by the way.
It's not possible, medically possible for her to gain a pound in a week.
Did Julie did it your way? In a week, she gained a pound.
And that's a concern that they've had, is that it doesn't even make sense. It's not possible, medically possible for her to gain a pound in a week, is what they're saying. And they had concerns about what they were observing with you guys, is that there was some sort of manipulation of the scale going on.
Manipulation of the scale.
That's what I was told.
I tried to get it to go over to kilograms. Actually, Kayla, grab her.
We didn't do nothing.
You guys, at this point, I apologize, but the direction is baby needs to be hospitalized.
Yes.
Once again, remember there's a cop in the room. Don't ever, 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 ever admit to anything on camera or in the presence of a cop, especially a cop that's proven to be as corrupt and as dirty as Robbie from the St. Charles PD. And when I say corrupt and dirty, we know he's corrupt and dirty because he started off this entire interaction by entering the home unlawfully, without a warrant, without permission. It was only after he came into the house and put himself physically into the home, that he finally got Heidi's attention. Do we need to go back and show all of you? Is that what I need to do? Do I need to go back and show everybody that he is clearly not to be trusted? Do I? I'll do it. We were at 14 minutes and 17 seconds. Let's just go back and show you this jackass.
Can I come in? Yeah. Okay. Can Triton come in? Yeah.
Triton, not Tristan. I'm sorry. Pay attention here. Corrupt cop Flurick, Robbie, whatever his last name is. Watch. He stops. He hesitates. He realizes I better not go in there. But what's he do? Pay very close attention.
So we were just there yesterday, and we've been waiting to react.
I better not. Better not go in. Better not. Nope. I don't have permission. I better not go in. I better not. Nah. Fuck it. I'm going in.
You mind if I step in, Heidi?
I'm gonna.
You mind if I step in?
Oh yeah, after I've already come in the house, right?
Let's stay in my room.
Yeah. Now, there again, Heidi will tell you she screwed up. She shouldn't have done what she did. She shouldn't have let him in. She should have kicked them all out right there. Not the point. Not the point at all. You want me to all of a sudden trust this cop who's got his body cam on, to not use everything that you say in this situation against you?
That there was some sort of manipulation of the scale going on.
Manipulation of the scale.
That's what I was told.
I tried to get it to go over to kilograms. Actually, Kayla, grab her.
We didn't do nothing.
You guys, at this point, I apologize, but the direction is baby needs to be hospitalized.
Yes, and she said the weekend, and we're not doing it right now.
We are doing it right now. I'm not leaving here until the baby is on the way to the hospital. So we're not doing this. Can we just place the hold and call EMS, please?
Yep.
Thank
No,
you.
we'll take her.
No,
But I
she's
want
going
you
with EMS.
No,
We're having EMS come.
No.
Taking my fucking
The
kid.
baby,
Kayla, calm down.
you can go
no,
with
we
the
will
EMS
take
with the
her.
baby.
We are not doing EMS. Would you like to?
EMS?
No, no,
I'm calling EMS.
no. Do not do this. Let her take her daughter. Stop,
She can
Audrey.
ride with EMS.
She's not running with EMS. Let us take her in.
I'm bringing up EMS for my own.
Okay, I'll tell you what. She's not failure to thrive.
Okay, you're not the doctor, Heidi. We will let them assess at the hospital. I don't have a choice but to follow a medical recommendation.
Let us take.
I don't have a choice but to follow medical recommendations. Now we're gonna let this little part here play out with very little commentary from me. This was all pre-planned. This was all part of the plan. They had this worked out before they ever came in. But what you're about to hear from this fat, I don't even know if he's fat. I'm just going to call him fat. Sorry, I'm into fat shaming. No offense to the fat people. I used to be fat. I was 300 plus pounds a few years ago. Fat shame me. I don't care. Call me mean. But he's a fat pig because his head is fat. And I don't mean it's like fat because it's full of really, like deep intellectual thought. It's fat because he just doesn't care about doing his job the right way. This piece of shit, listen to what he's about to say. On the radio to dispatch, calling emergency medical services. He knows. Listen to what this son of a bitch does. I'm so fired up right now. So I'm going to have to end it because otherwise if I keep going.
606 LOC. Can you just page up EMS for evaluation non-emergent, please?
Can you just page up EMS for evaluation non-emergent? Folks, non-emergent. Listen to him.
Can you just page up EMS for evaluation non-emergent, please? Can you just page up EMS for evaluation non-emergent, please? Can you just page up EMS for evaluation non-emergent, please? Can you just page up EMS for evaluation non-emergent, please? Can you just page up EMS for evaluation non-emergent, please?
And one more time.
Can you just page up EMS for evaluation non-emergent, please?
You stupid oath breaking tyrant badged thug, you piece of shit. Can you just page up EMS for an evaluation non-emergent? What is it, Robbie? What is it, Officer Robbie? Is it emergent? Is it emergent enough to threaten to take these kids? Is it emergent enough to threaten this family with having their child fucking kidnapped by you at the point of a gun if they interfere? Is it? What is it? What is the case here? What's the case here? Is it emergent or is it not emergent? Because if it's not emergent, why are you there? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Skipper, Skipper's my co-host from Vet Nation. Thank you very much, Skipper, for the channel membership. Really appreciate that. And thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Very much appreciated. I'm going to stop the screen share right there, and we'll take off the next video. We'll be taking off from this point. The cop admits it's not emergent. He admits it's not emergent. You don't get any more dirty. You don't get any more corrupt. You don't get any more abuse of authority than that. Folks, that's why I'm covering this story. And I've already said it, for all of the mistakes made, talking in front of the cop, letting the cop in, letting the social workers in, for all of that, all those mistakes made, the reality is the cop was in the wrong. The social workers were in the wrong. The doctor was in the wrong. They screwed up. And that's why I need all of you who are watching this. I need you to share this. I need you to help me get this out there. I need as many eyes on this as possible. They have court tomorrow. It's a Zoom hearing. They want this child. The government wants to take this child from these people. And they will stop at nothing to make that happen. We need help. These people have been abused. And I'm going to be frank with you. If I were watching this and I didn't know Heidi, I'd say, Heidi, shut up. Stop talking. I would say that. Heidi's exchanged texts with me. She knows. I would, I'm not going to pull punches. Heidi, you talk too damn much. Shut up. Kaylin, you're too trusting. There's a cop in the room. If there's any agent of the state in the room with you, shut up. You don't talk. You don't admit to nothing. You don't admit to even trying to help by changing the scale over to kilograms. Nothing. You don't admit to anything. You don't talk to a cop. You don't interject with anybody in government. Nothing. You remain silent at all times. You never give them anything. Ever. Never, ever, ever give them anything. We need as much help as we can get getting this story out. And don't forget, I'm working on other stories. I've got some stuff to show you as it relates to Blake Mosted and Trooper Ryan Moser. Share this out. Like it, comment on it, put it in front of people's faces, and know that I am working on getting it in the hands of much bigger channels. We're going to listen to this cop one more time, and then I'm going to end this.
Can you just page up EMS for evaluation, non-emergent, please?
Sic semper tyrannis.
We are go for liftoff in T-minus 30.
Stand by for further instructions, Minnesota Black Robe Regiment.
Secondary guidance systems engaged.
Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, it will be on my mark.
All systems are a go. All systems are a go.
Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, you are over the target. You are authorized to fire at will.